Hello, thanks a lot for coming to the meeting. Today is January 20th, and we have a regular community meeting. If you would like to add some topics to the agenda, just update the Google Doc. Let's start from some news. So key news is that now we actually try doing 2 meetings. So yesterday we had a meeting in the Asian and Pacific region time zone, which was also comfortable for EMEA. This meeting we had 7 participants. You can find all the information here on this link. For everyone who cannot attend this meeting, on community CNCF.io, we publish links to the meeting, to meeting notes, to presentations if needed. Everything is basically on YouTube, same as before. So if you're subscribed to YouTube, you will see this information. And we agreed during the meeting that we will try to keep as detailed meeting notes as possible, so that whomever is unable to join one session, whether it's at this time slot or one we had yesterday, then you can basically take a look what's going on and comment and discuss as a follow-up. This is what we discussed yesterday. Also, we talked about doing more things synchronously, so that these meetings are rather for runtime sync up, but not for decision making. Infinite screen. This basically key follow-up from there. And as you can see, we discussed a few topics like Keptn 012, FOSDEM participation just in a few weeks. Then we discussed Keptn community in the APAC region. Again, we talked about Kep65 declarative configuration and GitOps quite a lot. Also, Google Summer of Code and LFX mentorship and Kep64 bug and potentially user authorization in the future. So this is what we discussed, and maybe question for today's meeting is how we organize going forward. We can go through some news and some topics and re-record, rediscuss them if you would like, or we can just keep it as is. Just referring to the previous meeting and discussing only the topics we would like to discuss. Especially the question for Dmitry, because Thomas and Johannes participated yesterday. So how would you like to see it happening?
It's a good question. So what are our options possibly here?
So firstly, our option to glance through news so that we have quick update at both meetings. And then for the specific discussions, we can just pick topics which are interested to the audience. So for example, Thomas put Kep65 discussion for today. So this is definitely important enough to do a recap. But for example, for this particular meeting, Keptn community in the APAC region is probably not that important. I mean, it's probably not a subject for today's meeting.
Yeah.
Right.
Good.
So basically, my proposal would be to just drive the agenda based on participants. So if you have any topics you would like to participate, then just bring them on. And if you want to have a recap, continue discussion of the topic that was before, then let's do that.
So let's start according to your initial plan. No specific updates from my side. I can just inform what I'm working on additional connector to ADX. It's Azure Data Explorer, also called Custo. And once it's ready, I will happy to contribute it back to community. Azure Data Explorer, right? It's also called the Custo database. What it's actually the time series database, and all our internal Microsoft R&D monitoring solution is writing into ADX.
Mhm.
So for us, integration with ADX is crucial because all metrics are going directly there, and in future we will be able to use both Prometheus, PromQL, and a KQL language, what is used for ADX. But for now, the KQL is the only option to integrate with the system.
Mhm. Understood. Have you already talked to Jürgen?
Nope.
Yeah, because he just joined Microsoft, I believe, Azure advocacy in Austria, and
Okay.
he's one of Keptn maintainers. So I believe he could be a great source of information for you about what's possible or not with Keptn.
Can you type please his name? I will contact him immediately.
Mhm.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thanks a lot. I know a few other teams that use Azure storages. I'm not sure whether it's ADX or something else for communications and for monitoring data. So if we could have SLA provider for that, I think it would be a great addition.
Sure.
Okay, so the next quick topic is about maintainer application by Thomas. Well, it was submitted this morning, and yep, there were already many responses from maintainers, including me, including Jürgen, also Johannes, Chris, and so I guess we have the majority of maintainers commenting here. So, yeah, the question is whether we could just proceed and add Thomas to all the groups and GitHub organizations. So,
Yeah, definitely. We have strong support of this request, and I think, or not think, I'm sure we can go on.
Johannes, would you be able to grant the permissions? Because it looks like I still don't have all of them. So, for example, I'm still not a member of Keptn Contrib, etc. And maybe we will need to do a maintainer onboarding checklist later to ensure that all permissions are set.
Okay. Yep. I will
Yeah. And
work on that.
later I will add Thomas to the Linux Foundation database because there is a separate database for the Linux Foundation and separate database for the CNCF. And there are pull requests to be submitted. I can take care of that because, I got just added myself last Friday, but I need to add the rest of the team there.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Thomas. Well, GitOps and other topics they're really important. So I think that it's well deserved, and you've been contributing to Keptn for so long. Well, since the very beginning. So I think it would be nice to recognize that. Yeah. While we're talking about governance, maybe one topic to mention is that there are changes in the Continuous Delivery Foundation. So the executive director of this foundation, Tracy Miranda, stepped down. And what it means that there will be some changes in the organization and some projects might be delayed. What is important for us, CD events, we had a discussion with the TOC on Tuesday, and we agreed that we still proceed with this topic, but most likely the announcements will happen in late February or in early March only. So there will be some delay, but ultimately it doesn't impact the working group. So aligning specifications, doing reference implementation for Keptn. everything can be done. It's just a matter of marketing and official governance changes for the project. And hopefully it doesn't impact us too much otherwise. We had some discussions about having the rest of Keptn events, application lifecycle events, as we discussed before, also donated to our foundation. So maybe this particular topic we can put on hold for now, because we need to understand what is actually future for the Continuous Delivery Foundation in terms of resource investment, program management, etc. And then we can revisit this topic. Okay. Any questions, comments? So then we have only one topic remaining in the agenda for today, and it's CAP 65. So Thomas, would you like to do a recap of yesterday's conversation?
Yes, if I can remember.
Well, you are the champion of this story, so it would be better if you take care of that. But if you want to
Yes,
take
so yesterday we talked another time about the CAP 65, so about the Keptn GitOps and declarative configuration enhancement proposal. And we found out that the CAP by itself is a bit too large, so that we will split this into caps. So there will, I think the CAP 65 will stay the one for the declarative configuration, and there will be a CAP 66 or CAP 67 for the GitOps. And even if they are tightly coupled, they can be done into work packages, and therefore I'm perfectly fine with this. Currently, the GitOps, the whole CAP is based on a prototype which we created in an innovation day at Dynatrace, and currently I'm about to finish this prototype. So I hope this will be done until next week, when we will present some kind of GitOps and GitOps in Keptn at the DevOps night in Kiev. So please, it would also be nice if someone joins in this presentation. And yes, I think on Monday we had a Twitter space regarding this. This was also brought some kind of insights regarding this. We found some nice people who will join our efforts in terms of defining this and talking about this. So yes, it's already in the works.
So generally, we got quite a lot of feedback, and I guess there will be another iteration. And one of the milestones, Thomas, you mentioned, is releasing the next preview-ready version in a few weeks, right?
Yes.
That's great. Okay. So regarding this topic, so I guess it's rather question to Dmitry and to Luca on the call. Did you have a chance to take a look at this story? And maybe you have some additional feedback to share about the GitOps for Keptn or Keptn Operator?
Currently, I have nothing more to share for that.
No additional insights also from my end. Thomas briefly and nicely summarized that yesterday we talked about splitting the CAP, as it contains two aspects, and then we have it more focused. But the content is clear, the goals are clear, and yeah, really cool.
Yeah. So there were a few follow-ups. So we discussed how we actually manage SLIs, SLOs. They should be exposed to CRDs. So there was quite a long discussion, and he also participated asynchronously. So I think we will need to revisit this topic. But I think this is why we actually have caps. So having open discussion in the pull request or at one of the meetings or in the chat, this is how we could approach to address this topic. And well, I guess this is it for now. So any comments, feedback? Yeah. Maybe one quick update. Yesterday I tried reaching out to Cornelia Davis again to check the status of the graduation. There was a kind of misconnect because I asked in the CNCF talk and I got a response that currently they are focusing on sandbox projects for the next 2 months. I mean, for sandbox applications. But yeah, then I had a discussion with Amy, program manager, project manager working on CNCF TOC. And actually, it meant that they won't be considering any other sandbox projects. But for incubation requests, there is a separate life cycle. And we ultimately need our CNCF TOC sponsor, Cornelia Davis, to proceed. So firstly, she needs to confirm that due diligence and all other conditions are met. And after that, they will be reviewed by the TOC. So I'm currently trying to reach out to Cornelia through different channels. If it doesn't work, yeah, let's see. I have plan B ready, but yeah, I hope that plan A works. Because for us, we still have one unclear topic with security review. So this is actually something I wanted to ask Giovanni about because I'm not sure how fast it's going to happen and whether the confirmation for February still stands. But yeah, it can be also one of the obstacles for the final decision.
May I have a quick question? So if Keptn will be split into 2 different projects, so how exactly it will looks like?
It's not about Keptn, it's just about operators in a CAP 65.
Okay, so it's still will be the single Helm deployment to install different sets of operators. So it's based on what? So how, as a user, I can choose the right set of operators to install on my clusters?
No, this won't change something on the current behavior of Keptn. So the whole operator stuff and the whole GitOps approach are only additions to the Keptn core. And these additions consist of 2 parts. So there is a GitOps part, which talks to the Git repository itself, and there is a Keptn part, which is maintaining the Keptn custom resources. But you can also use Keptn without all of this GitOps approach and without all of these custom resources. Therefore, if you don't want to use a GitOps approach, nothing will change for you.
Okay, so it's just for using CRDs for all
Yes.
types of resources. So it's
Yes.
just additional operators, not
Yes.
having. Okay, because my additional thought on that, it's like a feature proposal. Um, uh, Keptn comes with multiple integrations already. So Keptn could be integrated with Slack. I don't know, but it's dozens of different types of integrations. So each of them are additional services which should be installed. So maybe this part could be GitOps as well, based on the configuration of what should be installed. What I'm asking to be part of the Keptn, this will be the Keptn configuration. So have additional YAML file that describes how do I want my Keptn to be installed.
No. So currently you can store the configuration for all of your execution plane or additional service components, but the operator and also Keptn will not install something for you, because I think we have no remote installer, if I get it right, Johannes.
No, we don't.
So at the moment you can configure your whole Keptn setup in the Git repository, but you cannot tell Keptn to install something.
Okay.
But this might be a good feature request, to be honest.
Actually, this is a discussion we had about 2 years ago, and it's called the Keptn uniform that you are referring to, Dimitri. And let me just copy paste the link. Oops. And I will just share for a moment. Because the idea that you currently described is the situation that I, as a DevOps engineer, I'm in charge of setting up a Keptn, and I also want to describe which services, Keptn services, should be installed and rolled out. And yeah, here it was a first idea how this could look like by having here a uniform. And in this uniform, I specify I want to have a deployment service, which then is implemented in this image. It listens to this type of event. Then I have a test service and so on and so forth. And I take this CRD and apply it on the cluster, on the target cluster. And then I have the tooling, set up, and this is then running there. Are you asking for such a feature, or is this your
Exactly.
idea? Okay.
Exactly. So it could be inception, what you have installed a single cluster, and you're trying to install additional clusters using this approach. So it's known as inception pattern.
Okay. Thanks for the hint. Yep, that's an old Keptn enhancement proposal, but if you have further ideas, please post them on the proposal, and then we can elaborate on that and drive it forward.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the summary. Did we lose Johannes? No.
No, I'm still here.
Sorry, I'm still dealing with my screen because apparently Bevy doesn't automatically align the layout if you split the screen to two parts. Yeah. So, well, I guess it summarizes the question well. Yeah, I guess for uniform, there is still a lot of follow-up enhancements that could be done. But even if the cap is in draft, my understanding that some parts of uniform is already available in the release, right?
I mean, the idea of having tooling that subscribes to event is implemented in Keptn, that's for sure. But the way of having a mechanism to declare my environment and to define also in a GitOps way what I would like to have on my cluster, this is a missing piece.
Mhm.
Okay.
May I have if we have a bit more time, one more question. Uh, have we heard from customers what are integrating a Keptn with Argo workflows to execute composite workflows for rollback, for instance, or any other workflow engine? Argo's workflow is just an example. There is plenty other workflow execution engines.
And what's the question you're asking? If there are
Uh,
customers or
yeah, who is already did this integration and they have such a use case.
I think we do. We even have demos like progressive delivery with Argo CD that, well, it presumably takes care of rollback if needed. With progressive
It's
delivery.
not. I think I'm familiar with this one. It's not the same. Argos workflows. It's like a separate from Argos CD, and it's basically used when you have a very complicated workflow with multiple steps that is used for installation and should be used also for the rollback. I'm just curious if such use case was already seen in the past.
not that not that I'm aware of.
Mhm.
I haven't talked to a customer who is using Argo workflows in combination with Keptn, but I assume that it's definitely a nice showcase or would be cool to see this. And I also assume that's working, or I believe.
Mhm. Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah. In this case, I would recommend to duplicate this question in the Slack channel. For example, in Keptn integrations,
Mhm.
because Andy Grabner, he has probably a lot of additional expertise and knowledge about use cases because he, well, travels the world, does a lot of workshops, talks to many end users. So he might have more information about use cases with Keptn and Argo by Keptn users. I also
Mhm.
do not know anything right away. So I tried looking in my Google Docs and other items I have access to. I don't see something that would match your use case. But asking in the Slack channel wouldn't hurt.
Sure.
Thank you. Well, I can also try asking Andy. Yeah, maybe a direct question would be nice because maybe some of other users will notice that and comment.
Mhm.
Okay. So yeah, thanks for bringing up this topic, and yeah, let's follow up. Yeah. So, do we have any other questions to discuss today?
Not from my end.
Yeah. Luca, do you have any questions? making notes. So if no other questions or topics, we can close down the meeting. Again, yeah, I'll handle the recording. It will be published tomorrow. I will follow up regarding adding Thomas to the CNCF database. Johannes can tackle permissions, so we can just sync up tomorrow asynchronously to ensure that everything is done. And maybe update the checklist because, yeah, for example, for the CNCF database, it's definitely not in the checklist, as we discovered hard way. So yeah, we can get it fixed. And yeah, for the rest, well, I will send Jürgen's contacts to Dmitry in Slack, and Dmitry, yeah, you can create a thread about Argo CD use cases so that we can see whether we can get some participants.
Great.
Then thanks everyone, and yeah, have a nice weekend. So I guess many people will be off tomorrow, and yeah, next week we'll definitely have a lot of sync ups. So I don't plan the APAC meeting for the next week unless somebody wants to. But in 2 weeks, as we agreed, we will do one. I'll get it announced, and I will also talk to Adam and Brett about having presentation of the use cases, the vision for Keptn, so that we could try approaching from this side, or maybe we could do it through the user group. Let's see. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah. Thanks all.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.